Hi guys, here is your math lesson for this week. I'm probably actually going to start doubling some of them up too, just so you know, just because I'm pretty sure this is pretty easy for you guys. So anyway, let's continue with volume. So I can determine, this is 7.2. So we're on this one. I can determine the volume of a right prism. Volume is represented in 3 dimensions, therefore it can be determined by multiplying the area of the base, which is 2 dimensions. So that's the bottom, whatever the bottom of whatever prism you're talking about, a right prism. Right meaning the corners are all have to be right angles, and prism just means that it's 3D basically. Okay, so multiplying the area of the 2 bases of dimensions and the height of the prism, which is the 3rd dimension, that's how it brings it in. So volume, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. So volume of a right rectangular prism is area of a rectangular base times the height of the prism. If you want to break that down, it's basically the volume of a right rectangular prism is length times width, okay, times height. So here is an example. Let's look at this cube right here. So the volume of the right rectangular prism can be determined using volume equals length times width times height. So length, they have L right here. There's the length. There's the width. That's the base. That's going to give you the area times the height. So you need to make sure you're paying attention to which line is which, okay? So you want to just be paying attention, okay? So on that, this will be your vertice, okay? So a cube is also a right rectangular prism. Volume of a cube is area of a squared base and the height of the prism. So length times width times height. It's the same thing, but because it's a cube, you can, if you wanted to, and this is just for making it more confusing for you, you could do S times S times S, which is side times side times side, and it's exactly the same thing. Side times side times side, all right? And everything will be answered in a cubed. So here is our example for the cube, okay? So we just looked at this, and this has to do with this example, okay? So we've got side times side times side. So if we've got side times side, if we look at them, because it's a cube, they're all going to be the same length. So that's another little trick for you right now that I want you to remember. If it's a cube, all the sides are going to be the same. So side times side times side, 5 times 5 times 5, 125 centimeters cubed. The volume of the right triangular prism, so let's do that one now. The volume of a right triangular prism can be determined using the formula volume times the base of the triangle, which is this one. So in this case, they put the measurement here, times the height of the triangle. Well, that's this guy, okay? That's this little one. Then you have to divide it by 2, because remember, guys, a triangle is half of a square. And then you need to multiply height of a prism, and that's the height of the prism, okay? So volume of a triangular prism is area of a triangular base, which is your base of a triangle, times the height of the triangle divided by 2, and the height of the prism. So base times height divided by 2, and height of the prism. You need to make sure you remember that. So in this case, it's going to be 3 is the base, 2.6 is the height of the triangle, and divided by 2. Now times it by 9, and there you go. And that is your answer. All right, so what we're going to do now is, and that's it. That's our lesson. So I want you to try the practice questions. You can turn it off, and right now I am going to give you the answers to these, but I want you to try them first on your own, and then come back and watch the rest of this and check your answers, okay? All right. What is the volume of this right rectangular prism? So because it's a prism and it's a rectangular, I want to use the formula volume equals length times width times height. But that's because that's the one I would like to use. All right. So length is 8.5, width is 4, and height is 5. Now when we multiply all of these together, I get 170 centimeters cubed, because each one of these is centimeters. So there's 3 of them, therefore it's 3. Remember, it only works when you multiply that, okay? All right, what is the volume of the following cubes? Now, when we talk about cubes, you can use side times side times side if you'd like, or you can still do your length times width times height. Oops, sorry, I forgot to put the times there. Or side times side times side. Either one, remember, they both work. Now, because it's a cube, we need to remember that all the sides are going to be the same. So here's our length, here's our width, and here's our height. So it's going to be 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000 centimeters cubed. All right, now let's do this one. So again, it's going to be the same one. So you know what? I'm not even going to write out the formula this time. Actually, yeah, I will. I'm just going to do this one though, okay? Volume equals. And the answer, 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5, you're going to get 15.625 is going to be your answer, okay? Centimeters cubed. But you never want to have an answer that big of that many decimal points after. So you always want to round it. And you always want to round it to 1 centimeters cubed. There is a cubed up here. It just got cut off. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. What is the volume of the right triangular prisms? So let's remember our formula, okay? So when it's a triangular prism, our formula is volume equals base times height divided by 2 of the triangle. Then you need to times it by the height of the prism. Okay? So first you got to do the triangle, then you got to do the prism side. So this would be, the base is going to be, when you look at the triangle, is this line. So when you match it, it's this one. So it'll be 210 times the height. Well, this is the height of the triangle. Well, that's the height there. They wrote it there. So that's 320 divided by 2. So let's do this part first. So I have 210 times 320 equals 67,200, and then I'm going to divide that by 2, which I get, oh, I'm going to check that again because I did this before and it looks different than what I have now. 6720 divided by 2. Nope, this is right. 33600. So 33,600. Now I need to times it by the height of the prism, and that'll be this guy. So times 400. I'm just going to bring it all the way down to here. I can put it on this line if we want to. So times 400 equals, whoa, that is a big number. Equals 1,344 millimeters cubed. All right. You guys double check and make sure I did that okay, because I don't know if I did that okay. 210 times 320 equals 67,200 divided by 2. Yep. I think I did it wrong on my paper. Okay. That's what I got so far. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, so let's remember. We've got volume equals base times height divided by 2, and then we got to times it by the height of the prism. So base is, find that triangle, find that square one. So there's the base. So it's this one. 7 times 7 divided by 2. So that's 49 divided by 2. And what is 49 divided by 2? I got 20. No, that's not what I got. I got 24.5. And then I want to times it by the height, which is 12. And the 12. And 24.5 times 12, I got 294 centimeters cubed. Is that what you guys got? Let me know. Okay, 2 more questions and then we are done. It's pretty nice and easy and short. Oh, no, I'm not. Look at that. I had a whole other page I forgot about. Silly Mrs. Hendricks. Okay, what is the volume of each right rectangular prism? So again, we're going to use the same formula, all right? Volume equals base times height divided by 2 times height of the prism. Now the other way that you can look at it, and the way that this one is written, is it is length times width. So we can always say length times width divided by 2 times height. That way it's a little bit easier sometimes to understand for the triangle. So you guys can decide how you want to write it, okay? Either one's going to be fine. You're going to get them both right, however you write the formula. Please write the formulas, okay? So we got length is 2 times 2. And that's going to be divided by 2 times 10. So 2 times 2 is 4 divided by 2 times 10. 4 divided by 2 is 2 times 10, and that is 20 meters squared. Down here, I'm just gonna make it a little bit easier. I'm just gonna put length times width divided by 2. See, my L's look like 1s if I do that. Times height. So it's gonna be 8 times 7 divided by 2. 8 times 7 is 56 divided by 2. And 56 divided by 2 is 28. Now our height is 9, so times 9, times 9, times 9, and I'm just going to write it over here so you can see it better. And 28 times 9, I got 252 centimeters cubed. Oh, right, this is cubed. Thank you. I'm sure one of you guys said that and told me, but I can't hear you. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. I am going to pause this for a minute and I'll get back. All right, guys. I'm back because I figured these out. All right, so determine the volume of the contents of each prism. And this one is only a third full, and this one is only 3/4 full. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to use the same formula we've always been using. So volume equals length times width times height. But when we get to the end, then we're going to figure out the actual volume, okay? So on the first one, we've got length, which is going to be 5 times width, which is 10 times height, which is 12. 5 times 10 times 12 is 600 centimeters cubed. Now, it's only a third full though, so we have to multiply it by the third, okay? It's just the way it works when you're going to figure out how much this is, okay? Now, when you're multiplying fractions, let's go back and think. Who remembers? What you got to do is you got to put this over 1. Remember, it has to be a fraction times a fraction. The other thing as well is, remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you're just going in a straight line. So 600 times 1 is still 600. That doesn't change. 1 times 3 is 3. When you get to this point, you want to have nothing on the bottom. So this is the exact same thing as 600 divided by 3. 600 divided by 3 is 200 centimeters cubed. And that is our answer. All right, let's do this one. I'm just going to close my window because you can hear the guy next door fixing his deck. All right, I am back. Okay, so again, this one is going to be, it's a triangular prism, so we have a different formula. So I'm going to start up here. Volume equals, remember with the triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. Or you can say length times width divided by 2. And then times the height of the prism. Okay, so you choose which one you like better. All right, so the length is going to be, remember you got to do the triangle first, so you got to do this times this. So it's 260 times 140 divided by 2. See, this line is the same as this line, okay? And then times our height, and our height of the prism is 400. So 260 times 140 is